According to some leaks that I personally don't find believable, Zack is not only going to be playable in Rebirth, but he's going to be playable for a big portion of the game, and that to me is what sounds the least believable. Is Zack going to be playable? My answer is I don't know, but I feel pretty good in saying we're not going to play him for that much, because if we think about it technically, how many chapters are there going to be in this game? Intergrade altogether had 20, so let's say 20, if they're even going to do chapters, we don't know, and I can't imagine that he's going to get more than one of them, if any. So that's one thing. The second thing is that they've created this seemingly gigantic world for these presumably 9 playable characters to be in. Then if they're gonna do anything like they did in Remake, where each character sort of gets their own little portion, some more than others, and then you're gonna tell me that for a big portion of the game, we're gonna play as a 10th character somewhere else, doing his own thing, either alone or with his own party. That to me doesn't sound right, like on a technical level. So my predictions, and I'm not settled on this, anyone can say anything and I might change my mind. I think we're gonna continue to see what we have seen. It's gonna be sort of its own little story that's sort of playing in the background, and it's gonna continue to have you be like, what? What? I'm assuming it's gonna be a little bit like Lost. And that's kind of what I fear, because it's just a bunch of questions that never get answered, kind of.
What is the Black Rock?
What do the numbers mean?
What is the monster?
Who are you people?
That bird just say my name?
What is a Nigerian priest doing in an island in the South Pacific?
What happens to pregnant women on this island?
Where the answers is way less interesting than the questions themselves. And all we have so far is kind of interesting questions. So yeah, we're gonna keep seeing things that are happening in this alternate thing that we don't know what is. And at some point, connections are gonna be made somehow so that it makes sense for the story why we're seeing this. Something's gonna happen that's sort of gonna connect them, at least in a narrative way. I'm not too certain if they're gonna merge. I personally hope they don't do that, because this is Cloud's story. Adding Zack so much is sort of taking away from that. You know, we can only hope that it sort of ties into some familiar part of the game already. You know, because the Whispers, as new as they are, the voices of the planet and the cries of the planet are things already within Final Fantasy VII Original. And one thing that really kind of, in hindsight, has disappointed me about the remake is that when Red 13 starts explaining Whispers, or better described as the will of the planet, I don't know, I forget what he's saying, I was like, oh my god, of course he would know. He would learn that from his grandfather, of course he would know. Bugenhagen has heard the cries of the planet, and he recognizes them. I was hoping he was going to say something like, I've heard them many times, but I've never seen them. But instead, what he said, when Aerith touched my face, I gained the knowledge of the Whispers. Ugh. They had like a perfect in-lore explanation for why he would know this, and they went with, oh, Aerith's green glow hand thing. Technically, the scene that this scene is replacing is the scene where we first learn about the fact that Red 13 has a grandfather, because he does say grandpa or grandfather, something like that, when he's in the cell with Barrett, and Barrett kind of laughs. So that could have been a replacement for that line, but it wasn't. Whatever. And when looking at these leaks, sort of the final nail in the coffin for me is when it says that we can kiss the original story completely goodbye, when we've seen in the trailer that it's mostly the same. So like I said in the previous video, how different can it be when we do all the same things and go to the same places and see the same people and all of that? It can't be completely different. So it doesn't make sense when the leaker is saying that, because it's not gonna be completely different. No matter how different some big story parts may be, it's never gonna be completely different, and that's what the leak is saying. So I don't believe it. I think we can all kiss these leaks completely goodbye. Alright, thanks for watching. Before you click any of the buttons or do the YouTube isms, be aware that this is just part of my channel, but all of my videos does contain me talking about Final Fantasy VII in some way, but many of my videos are figure unboxings and talking about figure collecting and showing off my collection. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, then obviously don't forget the lard. Get it? Because it's Final Fantasy VII. Do you get it?